Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Mono Blue Terror, and this is a Delver list version. This is a list from Illuminati, who is one of the premier Terror pilots of the format, and they were trying out taking out Delver entirely. The reason for this is that Delver is a very strong card on turn 1, but obviously loses a lot of value as the game goes on, and it just has several matchups where it's not very good. Anything playing Refurbished Familiar or Sneaky Snacker, which is probably about half the meta, or anything with Reach like a Chrysalis, it makes it really hard for the Delver to be super effective because it just trades off for all of these creatures. Same thing for like Core Skyfisher or Glinthawk, which adds a couple more decks as well. So instead of that, we're playing 2 Murmuring Mystic in our main deck. We're still a tempo deck, but this does make it so that with the Mystics we can be kind of more of a controlling deck. If we end up playing a little bit slow or just don't get a Terror out early, we can just land a Mystic, protect it, and then it can just win us the game on its own. The other 2 cards that we're replacing the Delvers with are just 2 more Ponders so that we can set up our draws a little bit better. So we have 4 Ponder, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Mental Note, 4 Thought Scour, a playset of Counterspell and Force Spike, and then 2 Sleep of the Dead, 2 Demon Inferior, 2 Deep Analysis, 4 Lorien Revealed, and 16 Islands. Sideboard here, some Annuls, Blue Elemental, and Hydroblasts, Dispels, Envelops, and Gutshot. So let's take this for a league and see how we do. Alright, here we are. This hand's okay. We do have Deep Analysis and Sleep of the Dead, which generally we want to mill. We have the Mental Note, so if we find a Brainstorm, we can put them back on top and then mill them both. And we have Force Spike. Ooh, we're against Bogles. I think this is already kind of a tough matchup just because if they get spells underneath our counter spells, like they just did with the Glade Cover Scout, it can be really tough to survive here. There's an Abundant Growth. We'll certainly counter like an Ethereal Armor, maybe even a Rancor. They don't use it. They have nothing else though. We're going to cycle the Lorien. I want to hold on to the Mental Note until we have a Brainstorm for these, or at least until we have the Mystic down. I might end up using it earlier depending on what happens, but that's how I would like to use it. We do get a Counterspell, which is really nice. Although if they cast like an Armadillo Cloak or something here, I'm going to be able to Force Spike it, and we will. 2 mana for a Ledgewalker. That we will Force Spike as well. And they have a Hyena Umbra. Okay. Not the worst thing ever. If we can get a Terror down, it can block that fine, as long as we can keep a lot of the bigger auras off of it. We get a Ponder. Counterspell, Deem. I mean, we do kind of want a land here at some point, but I don't think I can turn down a bunch of Counterspells and the Demon Inferior, which can answer an aura that lands. So I think we're going to keep those. I could always Mental Note them away if I really want to try to advance to an island or something, but like I said, not sure I'll be doing that. Here, we're not going to counter another creature, but we will certainly counter this. Correct their landscape. We get our counter spell. So I could Mental Note now to try to hit a land. I'd be wasting 1 counter spell though, and I just don't think we want to do that. I think I want to counterspell whatever they play here. Ideally counterspell whatever they play the next turn, and hopefully they'll run out of things. Well, I'm not going to counterspell that, obviously. Didn't even place it on the untapped one. I think I'm fine with another Bogle too, and a Glade Cover Scout. Okay, so I could counter this. I don't really care to, I don't think. This does make me want a Mental Note though, because I don't actually need another counterspell since I already have one in the bank. And if I can get the Mystic going, I think we'll be okay. So, mill, counterspell, Thought Scour. We hit another Deem, and we hit our 4th counterspell anyway. Okay. I mean, our hand isn't terrible, but we are looking down 4 damage. I was hoping to hit a land or a Serpent or something I could have played. They swing for 4 and just pass the turn. There's a Thought Scour. We hit a Deep Analysis, Mental Note. If we tap out here to like Deep Analysis to try to hit our land, we could just lose to an Ancestral Mask, but we're not getting anywhere. We haven't seen a Brainstorm. We milled 1 Serpent, but otherwise haven't seen a creature. This also puts us to 6. We lose to just about anything then. I guess I could Mental Note, and I could still cast a Demon Inferior. Okay, there we hit our island. So I could Deem for 1 or just hold up Counterspell. I think we just hold up Counterspell. They've not had the best draw ever, so I feel like we really should have been able to take advantage of this, but we're not in a great spot. Sentinel's Eye is great. So I could counter that. I mean, I might as well. It makes it so that they have to cast it from their graveyard, and then they use up some resources. But yeah, it does not do a lot. For 5, our Brainstorm, finally. I could Brainstorm, and if I hit a land, I could Mystic, which is the goal. I could just cast the Mystic, but I guess Brainstorm into double Deem is the way to make a bunch of birds next turn. Sure, I'll just cast Mystic and hope for the best. If they don't get anything here, we can start holding up the counterspell again, making birds. Maybe we can get out of this. They make no attacks. That's pretty good. They could have attacked with everything because I had to block the Glade Cover Scout, which means they'd get in for 2. But obviously I'm happy if they don't. We get a Terror. I'm going to Brainstorm. We're going to hold up Counterspell no matter what. So if I hit a land, I can, play 2 Terrors, I guess. All right, things are turning around a little bit. Rancor. I don't hate countering, but it actually isn't the end of the world because they have first strike, but I could just block with 2 terrors if they attack. I think we will counterspell. If they have like an Ancestral Mask, I can chump that and then Demon Inferior it, so I'm not too worried about that. The other things they could have would be like an Armadillo Cloak. That'd be the same thing of 5 power and trample, so I could still just block it with 2 terrors. Cycle Lorien, I was meant to do that in my upkeep, probably, to get rid of this Sleep of the Dead that doesn't do anything. I could Deep Analysis go to 1. Not sure if that's really a good idea or a bad idea. It doesn't seem terrible. It would let us play Demon Inferiors to get rid of these. And then I have blockers. Yeah, I think it's probably fine. Let's go for it. Deep Analysis, Demon Inferior on the Hyena Umbra, swing for 12 here. They chump one of them and we'll pass. Play a Forest and Armadillo Cloak. That's fine. If they attack with it, I can Brainstorm, make enough birds to block with a Mystic and trade for it. Also, we get a Mental Note. So, all right. Well, that was a close one, but we ended up pulling it out. We get 4 Annuls, and that's about it. But Sleep doesn't do any good, and Demon Inferior is decent. Mystic was definitely better than a Delver there, I believe. I mean, we could have played it on turn 1, but I don't think we would have won that race. Yeah, I think the Mystic was good. I think we're putting back a couple Ponders as well. All right, this one looks decent. We actually have the Brainstorm this time with the Mental Note and the Deep Analysis. We have a Force Spike on turn 1. They have no play on turn 1, which is really nice, because if they means they don't have a Bogle, probably, on turn 1, and if they have a Silhana Ledgewalker, I get to Force Spike it. I think I'll Force Spike a Rumble, too. That's also a creature. It can help find another creature, and it's just good value to Force Spike. Counterspell's a great draw too. We'll use that on any creature. Otherwise, we'll go Brainstorm, Mental Note. Looks like that might have been their whole game plan. Brainstorm, put back, Deep Analysis, Lorien, Mental Note. We have 5 spells in our grave. I want to hold up Counterspell, so we'll wait till next turn to play the Serpent. They have a Rumble. I feel like they probably didn't have that last turn. I could get baited here with a Ledgewalker, but if they have the Ledgewalker, or just any Bogle, I guess, they only have 2 other cards, so it really wouldn't be that big of a deal, probably. All right, we'll put back Island and Mental Note, and I think I'll just draw the Mental Note because I could actually just put out 2 Terrors and a Serpent here. I don't really see them coming back from that. They find an Abundant Growth. All right, and we win the first match. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. Round 2 here. I don't think this one's good. We basically have 1 spell that can really interact effectively. Maybe a Sleep of the Dead's decent, but it's does not seem very good to me. This is worse. We have a soft counter spell, and I guess 2 Loriens we can get in the bin. Yeah, this one's better. I think we'll put back the Deem and 1 Serpent. Keep the cantrips to find our lands. Against something red. Start with the Ponder. Force Spike, Island, Ponder is honestly not terrible. Sure, we'll keep that. I wanted another land. Another Ponder helps me find whatever else I want. Obviously, I already have a Ponder. And Force Spike can hopefully catch something good here. They just kick a Bushwhacker. Okay. That means they probably don't have a Burning Tree Emissary or a Rally or anything, which is good news. Got a Ponder. I know there's 1 Island. Another Force Spike, Brainstorm. Maybe should have kept the Island from before, because I kind of want to shuffle these now, but I do want to hit that land. But that's okay. I could use a Brainstorm, keep this, and then I can always like Ponder away the Force Spike or Brainstorm it away or something. Great Furnace. Kick another Bushwhacker. Yeah, it's going to be... I knew it was going to be hard to Force Spike something this turn. 6 damage is a lot. We have Force Spike Brainstorm on top. I think if they don't cast anything here, I'm just going to Thought Scour those away. This way I could play a Serpent, hold up Force Spike, which is fine, I guess. There's the last Ponder. At least it's a blocker. I mean, I'll counter anything at the end step here. I'll counter a Bolt just to get some Force Spike value. Try to keep us alive. And there it is. They could have another Bushwhacker. Obviously, the turn 2 Bushwhacker was because they had the next one and they had to start getting them out, but they could have even have a third one, which would be bad. Okay, Synth. Integrate Furnace is fine. Another Synth. Into Mountain is great. They have a Rally, though. Okay, well, that's bad. I was hoping with the Synth whiffs that we were in a pretty good spot. Now we're down to 5. Mental Note. Let's Ponder. Force Spike, Island, Thought Scour. Those don't seem very good, but I'll keep the Island. Mental Note those away. Terror's good. Alright, I guess there's no reason for me to hold up 1 mana, so I might as well Ponder first. Sleep, Brainstorm, Island. I guess if I just keep the Island, I can Lorien Revealed next turn into like sleep. I kind of just need counter spells though to survive here. Oh, I clicked don't shuffle accidentally. Oops. Let's see if I don't attack. I'm dead to a bolt regardless. I'm dead to a galvanic blast either way, or a bushwhacker. I'm only dead to a rally if I attack. I don't think I can attack. It gives them a free attack, relatively free. Like they attack and lose one guy for 3 damage. They're gonna take that. If they don't have a bolt or anything, they're probably not going to take 2 damage for 2 creatures, though. Crack the Synth. It was a pretty big mistake not to shuffle, though, I will admit. They had a Reckless Impulse off the top. They need a land to play that. They just have a Tomb Raider. Block, block. Alright, well, Sleep of the Dead. We get the Brainstorm. I know there's an island on top, so I might as well Brainstorm. Another Terror. Okay, so we play Terror, and I tap down a Samurai. We're still dead to a Bolt. Crack the Synth. Hit a Mountain. If I don't sleep, I'm dead to an Epicure, but I'm not dead otherwise. Well, if they don't get any burn, but I gotta just hardcast this. I was gonna say, honestly, if we find like a terror, we're dead to just about anything here, so I think I do attack finally. 2, 3, yeah, 4. I gotta get some damage on them, and we have a counterspell, so if we survive, next turn I can Sleep of the Dead counterspell, that'd be pretty decent. I'm not holding out hope, but I'm just saying that this is, I think, the right thing to do. They are gonna attack with everybody, so I assume we're dead here, but we'll block all the 2 power creatures. Go to 1, and there's then the festivities. Sure. Blue Blast, Hydro, Dispel, and or Envelop. Envelop hits Rally and Reckless Impulse, and I guess and the festivities. That'll probably come out though. Dispel hits Blue Blast, or Red Blasts rather, Bolts, Galvanic. Deep Analysis and Deem are not very good. I think Dispel's probably better. Force Spike can be pretty good in this match, so I think we keep all of them. They just can play on like a really low amount of lands, 1 or 2 sometimes, and Force Spike gets really good at that point. 1 Brainstorm. That's not gonna be good enough. Okay, here's the interaction we need. I think we get rid of the Brainstorm, since we could get locked with it. Ponder's probably better. I'm just gonna hold up Force Spike for just about any turn 1 play. I'll even take an Epicure. Mental Note. Alright, let's ponder. These cards are real good. Let's keep the Hydro in hand. Mental Note and Counterspell on top. I might get rid of them. Mental Note's kind of whatever. Counterspell's good, but expensive. We're gonna counter the Burning Tree, though. I think I'd take the Counterspell here. We're just not hitting a land drop if we do that. Yeah, we do want lands, especially in this version where we have Mystics. I guess we'll go for the Mental Note. We still have a Hydro and a Dispel. Draw Sleep of the Dead. That's not where we want that, though. We do get the land, luckily. Another Burning Tree. We're going to continue to counter these. There's an island. And now we just have a Dispel. I mean, if we draw Mystic, it's going to be really unprotected against a Pyroblast. But otherwise, I guess it could be okay. The Tomb Raider and a Percussionist. Island. Yikes. I could Sleep of the Dead. I guess I will. Prevent some damage. I could hold it for like a Murmuring Mystic, but if we get a Mystic, well, the first turn I'm going to hold up Dispel with it. I guess the following turn it might be worth to have the Sleep in hand for that. There's a Synth for a Bushwhacker. We have the Mountain. I mean, I'm glad I tapped the Tomb Raider for this exact reason, but still taking 4 here. Dispel not doing great. We draw another island. If we just got a Serpent, I think we'd be in a good spot because it'd be really hard for them to kill it, but I'll Sleep the Tomb Raider, rally at the Hornburg, swing for 4. We get a Cryptic Serpent. Feels too late maybe, but I think I have to Sleep of the Dead. This makes the next Serpent really bad, but we just can't really afford to let everything through. Actually, I guess I go for it on the Percussionist. Like if they have a Bushwhacker, we're just dead. This will at least keep us alive through that. Gonna go for the Percussionist so I can block the Tomb Raider, eat a bigger guy, which I guess could be risky because if they then have a Bolt for the Serpent, Dispel, that deals 4. I don't think I can afford to take 4. I would have liked to save that for like a Pyroblast, but 4 damage here just looks like death probably. There's the Bushwhacker, so we go to 1. And they have a Bolt. Yeah, I feel like our deck just did not cooperate there, unfortunately. Alright, on the play here, this hand's not bad. We got Ponder to set up a Mental Note, then a Ponder, maybe get an early Terror down. Let's Ponder, Cryptic, Thought Scour, so I can Mental Note to get rid of both Thought Scours. Draw the Cryptic. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I Ponder. We can just kind of get down a lot of Serpents pretty quick. Sure. I could also just keep one of the Mental Notes, or the Thought Scours rather, to mill even more. Guess it depends on who we're against. Elves? Yeah, I think we want to go, or probably not Elves. Could be, but Gruul. Either way, I think we want to go fast here. So yeah, let's go for the Mental Note. We hit another Mental Note. Brainstorm. I don't have anything I need to put back, so I'm just going to go for the Ponder. We're trying to hit a land here. And if it's Gruul, Deem is pretty much the best card we can draw, so yeah, that seems good. Tap, untap, Winding Way. Okay, could be Elves. Land grant, birch lore. 2 land grants. Could be elves with a low land count. Could be spy, I guess, but I haven't seen Arbor Elf in that before. Birch lore makes me think just regular elves. They didn't have a land. They discard a Hydra. Okay, I think things are going all right. Top card is Demon Inferior. I could just brainstorm Demon Inferior their Arbor Elf because they're missing lands. I mean, they're going to Generous Ent, but then they have to cycle this away. And then we get a terror down. Seems decent. Or I could just go Serpent, Brainstorm, and the next turn I could go Serpent and Terror. Kind of like cutting off their mana, though. And if we can find another land, then I can do 2 Serpents next turn anyway. Let's go for the Brainstorm. Okay, no land. Put back. See, I want the Counterspell. Maybe I just keep 1 Demon Inferior here. Actually, no. I don't know if I want the Counterspell, because I'm going to be very proactive the next 2 turns playing our creatures out. So they might get some things through, and then I want a Demon Inferior. Okay, I guess I need to keep Brainstorm to Demon Inferior effectively. I might not be milling these anyway, I guess. Let's put back Counterspell, Deem. We'll figure out what we want to do with it later, but Deem this guy and then Terror. It chose the bottom. It probably won't matter because the Generous Ent will be cycled anyway, unless they hit a land, which they do. Haunted Mire. Okay, the Mire makes me think it might be just Spy Elves then. So top card is Deem. If it's Spy Elves, we actually really want the Counterspell. Let's just keep it. That's the Demon Inferior. Brainstorm, try to hit that land again. We hit a Lorien. Okay, so I could put back Mental Note, Force Spike, cycle the Lorien. I think that's fine. I think I'm just playing the Serpent. We want the pressure. Counterspell could be decent if they like lead the Stampede here, but then they're not really committing to the board. I think this is probably fine. Next turn I can go Serpent, hold up Counterspell. Cycle the Ent for a Forest, Birch Lore, and Winding Way. Hits Dread Return. Yep, there's the Spy, Timberwatch, Generous Ent. We even get the island, so I could Demon Inferior Counterspell here, but every Serpent is now lethal, so I think I'd rather just play another one of these and just hold up the Counterspell. So that they play the Spy, we Counterspell, we probably just win, but then we also get to attack with 3 lethal attackers. Here's the Counterspell. I guess I could counter the Dread Return when they flash it back, but in case there's anything tricky, this should just win us the game. Alright, since they're elves, I think Gut Shot seems decent. Envelop hits Dread Return. I think that's it. Sleep of the Dead can tap Dorks for mana, but I think that's not the best. Force Spike. Force Spike can definitely lose some potency pretty early, but it's also our main way to interact. Turn 1. Kind of like the Ponder. It almost feels like Mystics might not be even worth it this game. They're just too slow, and I just need to rely on the Serpents, maybe. That seems okay. Like, even just 1 Serpent with Counterspells to make sure we don't die could be good enough. Got to mulligan the No-Lander. We have to mulligan another 1-lander, or 0-lander, rather. Don't know why I said 1 there. Alright, this one's fine. They also mulligan a 5, so I guess it's not the end of the world. But they probably mulligan a little better than we do, just because they only need to assemble their combo and we need other stuff. I kind of think Thought Scour. I guess I'm going to hold the Counterspell for later. I think we get rid of an island, because I'd like to... The Lorien to make the Serpent cheaper is pretty important, but I kind of want to keep the Force Spike for like a turn 2 play of some sort, like a Timberwatch Elf or something. There's the Arbor Elf, another Lorien. Quarian Ranger, they do the old dance. Hopefully they play a 3-drop I can counter. Sentinel. I'd take a 2-drop. They're going to attack. Okay, that's fine. I guess I'll cycle the Lorien. Play that. Pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. They are tapping just about everything, it looks like. Could be like an Avenging Hunter, Saga Wildling. Well, they tapped out, so we get to Force Spike it, which is pretty hot. Not that that resolving is the end of the world here, but it makes it easier for them to like trade with the Serpent, get some damage on us, and just using our Force Spike's good. Okay, 3 spells in our grave. Thought Scour's 4. Hopefully we hit at least 1, and then I can like, if I get a land, I can Serpent with a Counterspell backup. Or if I use Counterspell here, which I probably will against like a Lead the Stampede or something. I probably won't against another Saga Wildling. That's what they have. I'm going to Thought Scour. If I hit a Force Spike, I would use that. It's Brainstorm Serpent. So that's 5. Let's go for... Well, if I Mental Note, I can't Counterspell. So do I want to Counterspell? I don't think so. It's just a 3/3. We have 2 Serpents, so even if we trade like this for 2 Elves and a Wildling, I have another one. Alright, well, Mental Note. If I hit a Force Spike, I'll use it, but I'm not going to use a Counterspell on this, I don't think. Terror is good, because if we don't get a land, I can play that and still hold up the counter. Okay, we do get the island. So we're playing a Serpent. Do I want to play another? Because it'd be really aggressive. They could get off like a Lead the Stampede. They're not going to kill us with a Spy here, because they have only 1 land out. I think I'm going to go for it. A little risky if they hit a big Lead the Stampede, but if not, well, there's a Winding Way. They hit Arbor Elf, Spy, Timberwatch. Yeah, that's not the best for us. Because they can get the Timberwatch down. Oh, no, I guess they could have played the Timberwatch, but I think they decided not to, instead playing the Arbor Elf, which is fine by me. Timberwatch, except for like actual Spy combo happening, Timberwatch is probably their next scariest thing, and if I can counter that, then I'll be in a good spot. Yeah, they just played another Quarian instead, and another Arbor Elf. Okay. They attack for 3. Now I kind of like our position. Swing for 12. Terror. I'm going to play the island. If I top deck, like after using the counterspell, if I top deck like a Lorien Revealed or something here, I'm going to want to have played the island so that I could play another island in like Deep Inferior or something like that afterwards. They have a Fiend here, maybe? They could just be playing the Spy. That seems crazy to me. I mean, they only have 1 forest out, unless they have like 2 in hand and they're just going for luck. I think they're milling us. Or themselves, but like, I think they're going to win off of it, so I think that's fine. Yeah, they milled 2 cards. Perfect. Lead the Stampede and a Haunted Mire. Happy to see the lead gone as well. With 2 Quirion Rangers and this many elves, the Timberwatch is like going to be instant death, so that's really the one I need to not let resolve, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I guess they were just trying to bait a counterspell with that, but not happening. And they can block Spy, Wildling on like Serpent to trade for it, or Terror to just trade for one of them. That's not bad at all, but they're going to swing here. Some good. Well, that's more pressure. They have to chump both of the Serpents here, so bye-bye to these 2. Go down to 6. And then I play a Serpent, and now they have to chump all 3 Serpents next turn. They do have a lot of mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could be in some trouble, but cycling a Generosant, they could have cast that. I think that maybe they have another one. That'd be a scary card for them to cast, because it could just eat a Serpent, and also gains them a little bit of life, so they're not lethal. Maybe they just have a bunch of spies, and they're going to try to brute force their way through. I guess that'd be bad. Yep, there's a spy. 9 cards. Okay, that can't be lethal. Didn't hit anything relevant, except for just creatures. So they could have another spy in hand, in which case we'd probably lose next turn if we don't draw land, even with them chump blocking 3 of these. Hopefully we draw a counterspell, or they just don't have the last spy. They untapped the Wildling here. Gutshot? That's really funny. If they don't block the Terror and go to 1, I can just win off the Gutshot. I could just shoot one of these guys, but then they don't for sure die. So yeah, I think we just swing. They have to chump block all 3 of these, but they could just take the Terror, which is probably their best bet. And that's exactly what happens. We get to Gutshot them for the win. Well, that's incredible. Man, I love playing Burn. All right, this hand is decent. Crystallize is going to be on Azorius Familiars, so potentially an early Terror could be pretty good. Play an island. We're going to Mental Note. Hits Murmuring Island. Well, that's unfortunate. Probably not going to counterspell anything here on 3, so let's just Ponder. I might Force Spike like a Seagate Oracle, though. Sure. Keep those. Cycle another Lorien. I'll Force Spike an Evoked Muldrifter. I mean, that's still a card advantage, even if it is 3 mana for draw 2. 3 cards. Our top card's another Thought Scour. Let's just hold up Counterspell this time for like a Mystic or a Muldrifter. Ephemerate, not a God-Fearers Faithful. No land drop. That's real nice. That's probably why they were doing the Muldrifter. Let's go for a Brainstorm. Sleep and Thought Scour. Mental Note those away. Puts us at capacity. Another Terror, so I can just double Terror, hold up Counterspell. That seems pretty good. I could even Cryptic Serpent, but if they do draw their land and get down like a Mystic or something, it could be pretty devastating. Yeah, I think we're just going to win that one pretty easily. Dispel for sure. Envelop gets Lorien Revealed. Or Ponder, that's about it. Gutshot doesn't hit anything, so I think it's just 2 Dispels. Sleep doesn't seem amazing. Like, they have a lot of blockers, but they're usually not ones they want to chump with, and if they are chumping, it's pretty good for us. And they don't really have much power, so they're not going to be able to kill our guys. I think that's probably an easy cut. Yeah, this seems okay. Double Counterspell is pretty nice. Start with a Ponder. I mean, I don't hate more lands. Counterspell's good. We're not getting to Terror super quickly, but I kind of don't think this is bad. We'll keep those. Just play a Plains and pass. So we get to just start holding up counterspells for like forever. I'll counter just about any 3-drop they play. If they don't, we have an island on top. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. I'd rather mill spells, obviously, and this way we make sure we hit our land drops. Cycle another Lorien from them for an island. They're going to pass. Here I'll go for a Mental Note. It's blind, but, well, Serpent Island, not quite where you want to be. Brainstorm, we'll just pass. Mystic. I'm not going to just tap out for that because they could prohibit it. We only have 2 spells in our grave. I still think we're in a fine spot. We're making some progress. That is a 2 for 1, but I don't think I'm going to counter that one. Gonna Brainstorm here, hope to hit a Mental Note or something. And we do. So I put back Deep Analysis. I kind of don't... I want to have another land. I'll probably draw a land with the Deep Analysis / Mental Note. Yeah, I think we'll go for it. All our spells are just so good. Go for the Mental. Another Terror. We're at 5 spells. Grave, that's not bad. Another Terror. Okay, so I guess maybe I just play a Terror for 2 mana instead of Deep Analysis. Because if I whiff on the land, I just discard a bunch, and I'm actually taking spells out of our graveyard. They have a remove soul. That's fine. Circle of Protection, blue. It's pretty good. It's not game ending because we have a Mystic, but I think it's worth burning a counter spell on. They're going to counter back, but I can get terrors down for 1 if I want, which obviously don't do a lot against the circle, but it does start taxing their mana, or I could just get a Mystic down. But then if they just have a snap, they have free reign of anything and they bounce this and it's really, really bad. So I think we're just going for the terrors for now. Hold up counter spell. At least this can like tax 2 of their mana every turn. Archaeomancer. I'll counter that. They have the Dispel. Get back Negate. We'll swing. They have to tap out if they want to prevent the damage here, which they do. I feel like it's just too risky to play the Mystic without actual counterspell backup, so I might just Deep Analysis to try to hit the land, so I'll have it next turn. Another Mystic. Let's Ponder. I'd love to Ponder after the Mystic, but alright, there's the island. Keep that. Pass. We know they have a negate. Seagate Oracle's fine. Swing for 1. They activate the circle twice. Gonna play a Mystic. They have a remove soul. I have the counterspell for it. They didn't. They could have a snap. Then I have a counterspell for that. Ephemerate on the Seagate Oracle. Definitely the type of thing I want to counterspell, but I think we're just saving it to protect the Mystic. Obviously, the Seagate Oracle being flickered twice could find removal for the Mystic, but yeah, obviously they're going for the Archaeomancer to get the Ephemerate back. There's the snap. We know they have negate, so I'll just let that happen. I mean, I could have counterspelled and made 1 bird, but that doesn't do too much. I guess Ephemerate's going to be pretty problematic, because they could just keep getting back the snap, then we can't keep a Mystic around. So they go for remove soul. Sure. Attack. If we find a Demon Fury, we can get rid of the circle, you know, if we can also get through counter spells. So I could go for a Deep Analysis. Feels like we don't have a way to stop this Ephemerate loop, which might just be game losing. They're going to negate that. I'm going to be fully honest. I don't think I'm a good enough Terror player to figure out how to win here. I feel like we should have the resources to do it, but they're just going to Ephemerate this again, get back into gate or whatever. I know the circle's a tough spot for us, but like, I don't know. If there are Terror players who feel like they have a good way to win there, I'm all ears, because it's a little embarrassing to concede at a point like that, but it just feels like they had, I mean, it was a kind of a soft lock on us. I don't know. Like I said, feels like we should be able to do something there, but I don't know the way to do it. Or maybe I misplayed leading up to that. Familiars is always kind of a tough matchup for me to play against, because they have a lot of really good locks and things like that to put on you, and I don't always know how to get out of them, but especially as a blue counterspell player, not 100% sure how to do it. This hand's decent, I think. You need to find some creatures, obviously, but I'm just gonna go for a mental note. Island Brainstorm. Alright, now we get a Brainstorm. Like, they didn't even have a familiar. We haven't seen them get a familiar out at all. We still lost to that, which is kind of unfortunate. Chancery. Alright, we get to Brainstorm, put back, Deep Analysis, Island, Mental Note. There's a Terror. It's a 2-mana Terror, though. I still get to hold up Force Spike. Alright, Ponder. I don't think I need a million more Ponders. So what I want right now is counter spells and more creatures, I believe. Love to Force Spike a 3-drop. That is not a 3-drop. There's Mystic. Swing. I could go for a Deep Analysis. Then I'm only holding up counter spell. If they land a Circle of Protection, it's kind of tough. I mean, all I have to help with that is a Force Spike, but it could be something. If they have like Circle and Negate and a tap land, Force Spike could help out. Play an island. Well, they got nothing else. All right, let's Thought Scour. I often just Thought Scour if we have the mana for it. It's totally possible that I also should be holding, like once we're at capacity, I should maybe be holding those for later. Thought Scour with Demon Inferior can actually be a way to get rid of Circle of Protection, so I maybe should be keeping it for something like that. They're gonna go for a snap, it looks like. Ride's End, sure. I get to Force Spike that, so that's something. Now I just have Counterspell, so it probably makes sense to Deep Analysis. I'm not just going to slam a Mystic. Dispel's pretty good. Okay, so I could slam a Terror here. If they get the Circle of Protection, it's kind of bad, but their mana's really low. I feel like that taxing that mana would actually be okay. I mean, the Dispel is still good protection against something, but obviously not against the circle. Chancery, they float all their mana. They might be snapping here. Ward is really brutal against the snap too, which is nice. Mystic, sure, that's pretty good. Snap their familiar or something to generate mana. I'll still dispel even if they snap their own creature. That's exactly what they're doing. They have one chump blocker. Let's see. I'm gonna hold up Counterspell, so I have 3 mana to mess with, so let's Ponder. If I can find perfect. Demon Fear is exactly what I wanted, because then I can deem the Mystic. I could deem the bird here, then they have to chump, but they get to choose what they chump with, and the Mystic being around seems problematic, so let's not do that. I could Ponder first to make the demon cheaper. That's probably fine. Another ponder. Yeah, deem the mystic. Oh, there was a thought scour on top, which I could have kept so that I could have thought scoured their top in response to like a card draw spell. That probably would have been better than keeping the ponder here, because they're going to preordain. I mean, if they just try to play it, I can counterspell. They'll have 1 mana left, so they could like negate. Oh, they played a land, so they have 2 mana. Well, we're going to counterspell and see what they got. At least it won't make a bird. 1 mana. But it's white, so they could ephemerate to make a bird, but that's it. And if not, they just have to chump block with both of these. Plus, we know we have a Demon Inferior, so that should be game. All right, we got there. Like I said, I still played fine against them, I think, but that game 2, I just felt like I should have been able to get out of that in some way. So maybe not. If people think that, you know, it was a fair time to concede, that's cool, but I don't know. Definitely interested to hear people's thoughts on that. All right, last round here, and Triple Serpent, Brainstorm. Perfect hand to get Brainstorm locked. I think we'll ship that. Yeah, this one's okay. I think we get rid of the Ponder. Demon Inferior could be good depending on the matchup. It's good with Brainstorm. We have a Lorien with the Brainstorm too. I never know exactly how many like serpents to keep. Assuming we can fill our graveyard effectively, which it looks like we can maybe do a decent job here. Feels like I always want to keep as many as possible, but in this case, maybe I should have kept the Ponder over one of them because it could find another, plus set up our draws better. I don't really know. See, like here I want to Brainstorm, cycle in the upkeep, potentially, but I actually don't want to shuffle cards away. I just want them to get milled. But if I can't find a Thought Scour and I cycle a Lorien here and then I Brainstorm, I could just get locked. So I think it's probably safer to do the Brainstorm here. If I find a Thought Scour, I can just do that still. Well, we found 3. That's good enough. I guess I am still going to have to use the Lorien, because I could like Thought Scour these away. We have 2 shots to hit a land, but if we don't, it's kind of bad. But I'll let myself draw one of these back, then I'll cycle. So with 2 of these, I should be able to fill up my graveyard enough, I think. I don't know. That's another spot where I'm interested to see how people would have done that with the Brainstorm and the Lorien. But I think I'm pretty happy with how I did it. They just bolt us. Plot a robbery. Okay, so it's madness. Mental note. We hit ponder. That's pretty good. So that's 1 mana serpent. I would love to hit a land. Perfect. So yeah, I guess I just serpent, hold up Thought Scour. They cast the robbery and they get a snacker back. I also don't always know when to cast a serpent versus a terror. To me, it makes sense to cast a serpent here because it's not going to get reduced below 2, and the terror could get cheaper and will get cheaper, but it's also possible that the ward is just far more important. That I should have gotten it out earlier here, because they could they could have double bolted it. Now they'd have to like dart Fire Blast, which would be very good for us. But I don't know. Thought Scour, hit a terror. Brainstorm's a good draw. That means I can Brainstorm, Demon Fury, the Flame Breather, and I can mill it if they put it on top, and then I can also play a terror. Seems good. Let's Brainstorm, see if we want to do something different. Holding up a Force Spike, for example, could be good. Well, I guess we're going to hold up Force Spike / Thought Scour then. Attack for 6. Demon Fury, the Flame Breather. They chose the bottom, so I don't actually need the Thought Scour for the Flame Breather then. Hopefully I can Force Spike a Gutter Snipe or something here. Gutter Spike. Swing for 2. There's a Faithless Looting. Discard, grab the prize, and a Temper. Madness that. We're down to 12. They pass. Don't think I need a Thought Scour here. If I tap out, they may bolt, which, like, I could just hold up a Force Spike for. Let's ponder. Okay. I could just get down another Serpent. That means we have triple lethal on them next turn, but we already are going to have double lethal. They need to get a blocker. I think I'd rather just try to find a counter spell so that we don't die. We're at 12. They have 5 cards. We could very easily die here. I'm going to Thought Scour us now, because if we hit a ponder, I might want to cast that to find a counter spell, which we didn't, but I don't think the Thought Scour is doing anything else. It was going to be looking for a counter spell, and if I found the ponder, then I'd be kicking myself for not using it in our main phase. There's a Flame Breather. Okay, that gives them the chump blockers they need. Probably not dead unless they have like land, bolt, Fire Blast. In which case the Force Spike could be pretty good. No attacks. Thought Scour. Alright, well the way it ended up, maybe the triple lethal would have been nice. I could Mystic. I think this is going to be enough creatures. Like again, I don't think they're going to get 2 creatures here probably. So I think it's probably safer to, again, just look for more counter spells. Well, we didn't. Obviously, we'll just play the terror then. Hope our Force Spike can keep us alive. They didn't even bolt there, so that's probably a good sign we'll be okay. Unless they have a Gutter Snipe. Grab the prize, Highway Robbery. Okay, we're down to 10. Bolt, Fire Blast gets got by a Force Spike. I guess grab the prize, double Fire Blast would do it too. But again, Force Spike's going to be clutch. Grab the prize, discarding a Fire Blast. That's crazy. Well, I'm going to assume that they can't kill us with no mana here, so I'm going to Force Spike that. Alright, that worked. So Blue Blast, Dispel. Envelop's actually even good here because of all the draw twos. So I think we get 8 counters. Deep Analysis and Sleep Dead are not necessary. Murmuring Mystic feels kind of slow for this matchup, honestly. But I guess if we just land 1 Mystic, we could be in a pretty good spot. I mean, that's always how it is, but Demon Inferior can be okay. I mean, we only have 4 Hydroblasts, but those are generally how we want to get rid of their creatures. Deem was good here, though, but I like Force Spike, too, so am I just pulling out all Ponders? That doesn't seem very good. Definitely a couple, but I think we're going to keep the Mystics and try them out, since that's what this version is trying to do. All right, hopefully we can find lands and Hydroblasts with the cantrips we have. Oh, Envelop's pretty good. Do I just want to hold that up for the turn 2 draw spell? Yeah, I guess so. This means I'm not pondering now, which means I could throw off my lands and stuff, but enveloping a grab the prize here is just such a big game. And I can brainstorm just to cycle if they don't go for it. They could also obviously plot a highway robbery, but even just holding the snacker off for like an extra turn could be pretty good. Yeah, there's the robbery. I'll cycle this, try to get that land though. Okay, we do. Put back. Kind of like everything, but I guess we like the counterspell least, just because it's expensive. That's obviously very good. I might end up drawing it, but here we're holding up counterspell, envelop, dispel, and we have brainstorm thought scour if we want to do that. So do I just counter the highway robbery with the envelop? Probably. It's annoying because it uses no mana this turn and it's a 1-for-1. You know, I think we'll let it go. Plotting a robbery is real good. Makes the tempo of what we decide to do here really tough. Okay, they discard a looting. That's totally fine. As long as it's not snacker. Relic of Progenitus. That's kind of annoying, especially without Delvers. Good thing we kept Mystics in. I think we're going to try to counter it, but I wouldn't be surprised by them just playing another or having a Pyroblast that they want to use here. Yup. Exile a card. So we're going to ponder, try to hit that land drop. Do. Force Spike could be okay. Terror, who knows? Could be tough with this relic, but play the land and pass. Relic away a ponder. They're going to pass. So I could go for the brainstorm thought scour. That kind of forces the relic to be popped. We don't have a lot else we're doing. And if we can't get a terror down, we need to find a mystic. So there's a land. I almost want to put back 1 terror and the Force Spike and mill those. I think I like all the other counter spells better. It still puts us at 4 spells. So if they let us cast the terror, it would be 3 mana, which I'd probably do. But they should pop the relic in our upkeep or our draw step. Either one's probably fine here since we haven't brainstormed and not cleared it already. It doesn't really matter. They're deciding if they want to. They might also just be fine with me casting a 3 mana terror if they have like a red blast. I'll have a dispel for it, but if they have 2, then like me tapping out could be pretty good for them. Although if they use 2 red blasts, me tapping out isn't as bad because then they only have a couple cards to cast. They do end up going for it, which I think is the right call, but this frees us up to not have to cast the terror for 3 mana and just hold up a pile of counters. Another relic. I kind of don't think I care at this point. Like, these are going to come out really slowly anyway, and I'm already prepared to like hard cast this terror in this game. But then again, we had a lot of counter spells, so maybe I should have used one on that. They're going to bolt us. I'm at 20 life. I'm not going to counter that. If I was at like 10, sure. Or if they cast like 3 more, I'll use those, but for now I'm okay. They did also exile a Faithless Looting earlier with the relic, so that's not irrelevant. They bolt us again. Maybe I should go for a Dispel there, because I'm about to start having to discard. Yeah, I should have dispelled that one, I think. Would love to just get an island, or a ponder, or whatever. No, it's Serpent. Yeah, I mean, maybe they bolt us on the end step here, but probably shouldn't, since we are going to discard anyway. I think I'm getting rid of the Envelop. I already have 3 counters for sorceries. Dispel, like, counter is a lot more important, I think. But yeah, we could just have 3 more life here. But we wouldn't have the Dispel, we'd have the Envelop, which I still think is a fine trade. Activate Relic, plot a robbery. That'll probably be something to counter in a turn. Alright, there's an island. That's nice. Like, just drawing with our current hand a bunch of islands in a row and then, like, a mystic would be great. I am going to counterspell the robbery here if they cast it, which they don't. Hydroblast. Alright. I really don't think I'm going to get rid of any of these counters, so I think we're just discarding a Serpent here. I mean, I think we win this late game, depending on draws, and we have a pretty stacked hand to prevent us from dying. But we are also probably the one that's going to end up being proactive. I'll counter the robbery. I'm happy to have a counterspell fight over this, or to just let it go. We're obviously using counterspell here because it costs 2 mana, and Blue Elemental and Hydroblast counter just about everything in their deck anyway, except for a relic. Dispel only counters instants, so it's possible that I should dispel this here, though. I think that's probably the right call. And I don't want to cast so many instants and sorceries, like 4, that the relic popping is really good, but I don't mind casting like 2-ish, 2 or 3, so that I can maybe get a terror down, even for like an expensive cost. Like if I draw a land here, I could play a 5 mana terror, holding up Hydro and Blue Blast. That seems pretty decent, actually. If we just get a counterspell, I could cast it for 5. With just 1 counterspell backup, that doesn't seem super good. But if they have the Pyro, I just don't want to tap. I'm at 14. I don't want to tap out where they can get a Gutter Snipe and then just kill us. But we're also going to lose more spells from our grave because of the Relic. So, it's not great, but I just think tapping out of 3 of our 4 counterspells for a terror that probably gets pyroblasted seems kind of bad. There's a Faithless Lute. I guess I'll let that resolve. Discards a Snacker and a Mountain. They have an Epic Cure. I mean, that can honestly do quite a bit of damage over time, so I think I'll just counter it. Just because I don't have a blocker, you can attack in. Blood Token's pretty good too. Relic one of these away. We do get the island, so this time I think I am going to go for the 5 mana terror. Like I said, now I have at least 2 counter spells to back it up. So to either protect it from getting countered, or if they let this go and then go for like a big gutter snipe thing, that would be fine too. They got the Pyro. It's counter back. They also only have 3 cards in hand. So if they do have a gutter snipe, they need to have pretty much the perfect cards to actually be able to kill us here. We've seen 3 Pyroblast / Red Elemental Blasts, so probably only about 4 or 5 more to go. There's a Flame Breather. I think we'll counter that. I could let it resolve to try to counter like a Grab the Prize and always just kill it later with the Hydroblast if I want. If I was at 20 life, I'd probably do that, but 14, you know, with Bolt, Fire Blast, that could be 13 damage. Like, I don't really want to give him the potential to get that much. But there's a Robbery getting back a Snacker. I guess if they're then going to pop the Relic, it's pretty good that they get the Snacker out of here. Yeah, maybe it was a mistake, sacking a Mountain. I think it was the overly safe play, but might have ended up just being the wrong play. Activate the Relic. If they don't pop the Relic, I can get another terror down though. Okay, we're gonna do it before they change their minds like mid-combat. Definitely thought they were gonna go for the counter. I'm gonna play an island. It might be better to bluff having like 2 pieces of interaction, but if I top deck a Lorien, I'm gonna want to cast it and have as much mana as possible. Now they're gonna crack the Relic. Okay, that takes out their Faithless Looting, but they have 5 up to 6 cards. We could be in a tough spot for sure. We have 1 counter spell. That's going to go for a Gutter Snipe 100%. Flame Breather probably. I assume they're going to attack here. Yeah, down to 12. Epic here. I'm not going to counter that. It does deal damage here and another if it gets to attack next turn. So it's not a bad card by any means, but don't think it's the one I can afford to counter spell. That's the one I got to go for. It's possible they sandbagged a Gutter Snipe for next turn, knowing that we can't kill him this turn, but we're at 11. The Flame Breather just could be lethal. I mean, they bolt us here. They could have 2 Fire Blasts and we're already dead, which kind of looks like what it probably is. Yep. There we go. Letting the Flame Breather resolve didn't make any sense, though, so I think we played that part right. If I hadn't counterspelled that last Flame Breather, then I would have ended up Hydroblasting it, counterspelling the Highway Robbery. The Snacker wouldn't be back, but they had the 2 Fire Blasts. I think I might have still made the right call. It's hard to tell exactly. That was a tough one. The Relics were just brutal. If we could have gotten those Serpents down even like a turn earlier, I think we would have been okay. Yeah, this one's fine. I think I don't need to leave up Force Spike for turn 1. They could get an Epic here down or something. Oh, they could Relic us right away. Oh, God. Okay, let's hold up the Force Spike for a Relic, because that would be bad. I wanted to Ponder. I guess I'm not going to Thought Scour then, because 1, I might want to save it for when they don't have a Relic or to overload the... Okay, they did. They went to second main phase, but we ended up Force Spiking it. That's good. Okay, I was going to Ponder, but we'll hold that up. Potentially for another Relic, or maybe just obviously like a Draw 2. Not that they're going to probably cast a Draw 2 into a counterspell, but at least that stops them from doing it. There's the Robbery. I'm going to Thought Scour here. We could get out some early terrors if we get lucky, and we did not. We milled Island, Serpent. We did get a Lorien, which is nice, but that's still only 3 spells in the grave. Ponder, 4. Mystic could be good. We don't have a lot of protection for it, though, but I would have loved a Mystic last game. Through all those, that 6 counterspells we had, like, would have been great with birds. So I think we're going to just take that. Play an island. We have a Mental Note on top. Under that, a Lorien. I don't think I'm going to counter the Highway Robbery. I am going to counter a Flame Breather, though. There's the Robbery. Obviously, I know they're baiting the counterspell out, but Flame Breather's a pretty good bait because we don't really have a better way to get rid of it, or another way to get rid of it except for like a Demon Farrier, which we only have a couple of, and also we took out of our main deck, I think. All right, do I want to draw this Mental Note? Or just cycle this. We're already at 5, so if I cycle this, I already have 1 mana terrors, so I actually don't need the Mental Note. Although I guess Mental Note would be a 1 mana spell for the Mystic next turn. I think I'd rather just draw something else, though. I'd rather draw like a, I don't know, Cryptic Serpent. Well, we're gonna get a terror down. We're not holding up Counterspell. Serpent dies to a Pyroblast too easily. I think we're gonna go for a terror. This bluffs that we have a Blue Elemental Blast or a Hydroblast, but it also means if they want to kill one of our guys, they have to spend 3 mana on it, as opposed to just 1, which would be a lot easier for them to fit into their turn. They go for a Robbery, discard a Snacker, and a Faithless Looting for a Temper, and discard another Snacker. Yeah, this one's going to be close. Obviously, we get to hit him for 10 here. I really need a Counterspell to feel safe. It's not a Counterspell. It does just give us 4 creatures, 3 of which have to be blocked next turn, which they probably can't do. So if we don't die, we probably win. I could play a Mystic, but that doesn't do anything. Yep, we're going to hope they can't deal 14 damage. They have 2 with the Snacker. They only have to find 12. It's not that hard. Play Mountain. There's a Flame Breather. Faithless Looting. Okay. Not the worst. Unless they like double Fiery Temper us here. I guess if they find a Voldaran Epicure or just another Flame Breather or whatever, they could survive here. And if they get one extra turn, we're probably toast. They only have 2 cards though. Seems tough to deal us 13 with 2 cards. There's a Pyroblast to kill a Serpent. Okay, that also keeps them alive. Even better than an Epicure. They do still have to chump both of these. Okay, we're not in a bad spot. And that makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Sorry, Mystic, you're not getting cast. Because we eat these, they go to 5. Now they have 3 lethal attackers, so they have to find 3 blockers. Probably not going to happen, or they have to kill us. And with just 2 cards, they're probably not going to be able to kill us anyway, but the counterspell really makes that unlikely for them to kill us. Flashback Faithless Looting, I think that's fine. I guess if they double Fiery Temper here into 2 Fire Blasts, they could... I could counterspell to stay alive at 2, but alright. Nice last match. Well, we got a 4-1 with the deck, which is not bad at all. This version, even without Delver, still feels just incredibly powerful. We only saw the Mystic a couple of times, and that's because unlike a control deck, we do play a very low land count, and it's just harder to get a Mystic and to let it resolve, and then also be able to be used before it can just get killed. So it does feel like there's a little bit of push and pull because the deck wants to be very low to the ground and aggressive with that tempo strategy, but then the Mystic definitely wants to pull you back to be a little more controlling. But it is nice against, we didn't actually see it, but against like Azorius Familiars where they have the Circle of Protection, Mystic is a way that you could get around that, because if you could just make enough birds, there's no way they can prevent all of the damage from every bird every turn, and eventually you'll whittle them down. Our one loss was to Red Rally. I do feel like we have a decent matchup against Mono Red Madness. Still could be definitely a tough one, but we have a lot of counterspells to interact with them, and they often wait a couple extra turns to start deploying a lot of their threats, which makes it easier, whereas Rally just starts hitting you with a 2-2 on turn 1, and that can be really, really tough. So the Mono Red matchup feels maybe medium, relatively even for Madness, and definitely unfavored for Rally. I don't really know how you would fix that. Obviously, more Hydro Blasts in the sideboard could be good for that. We don't really have any board wipes or anything to help with that. And our only removal is Gut Shot, which obviously we're not bringing in against a red deck. But overall, this deck felt sweet. I don't necessarily know if I liked it better than the Delver version, but I totally understand the reason for it. And it still seems like a very sweet innovation on the deck. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me on a monthly basis, go ahead and check out my Metafy down below. It's the best way to help support me and continue to get daily videos from me. Thank you to my current supporters, Howard Granger, Rafa Rodriguez, JDNPX, Tommaso Magnani, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, Ill Intent, and Emmanuel Mayer. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all next time.